Hey guys, what's going on? It's QwazyVlog here, and this is my face, something you guys aren't really that used to seeing. Why I'm doing this and kind of why I'm sitting at my workstation, as you can see behind me, my capture card, ever since I put my my PC back together and hooked up the monitors and installed some new software, just stopped responding, so I'm going to have to investigate that a little bit further. However, because you guys were so patient, I had promised you through different comments and web forums that I would post some videos today. It's been a few days. I try to do daily or at least bi-daily uploads, so this is it. This is what you're going to see. We're going to do a brief setup of kind of the man cave, if you will. Everybody's got one or is working one or strives to have one. So I'm going to fill your curiosity. I'm going to show you what we're working with here, how I produce my content, and thank you so much. I'd like to also say thanks to everybody who subbed very, very recently. Even though I was away, it's great to see that you guys are enjoying some past content and that you stay tuned for some new stuff. And hopefully when I have this up, you guys watch, you'll have lots of questions for me to answer about some of the things that I'm running or some of the setup choices that I had. Honestly, I'm more than happy to answer it. That's kind of why I'm doing this as well. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it, guys. Thanks. Alright guys, so welcome back. This is kind of the view of my couch. The main reason why I'm sitting here to show you guys the TV and kind of why the TV is on is just because there are some times where I choose to game over here. Also, the room's pretty narrow, so this was kind of as far back as I could go. So, pretty standard setup. I'm not going to get too much into all of the details, but it is a 55-inch LG 3D TV. Really sharp colors, everything like that. 3D we use at times mostly for family movies when we're looking at like kids movies and stuff like that with our daughter. However, Trine and some other PS4 games are absolutely stellar on 3D. It's not a gimmick, it's actually pretty decent as far as the gameplay is concerned and what it has to offer. The front speakers are kind of a mix and a plethora of different kinds. Up top here in the 7.2 setup, we've got some Polk Audio M10s. Or M20s, I can't remember which ones they are, the monitor series. We have a CS15, I do believe, as the center, and then the sides would be some Fluence speakers made in Canada, which are great speakers. I can't say enough about the quality. If we move a little bit closer here, we're going to see we do have an AV receiver down here. The receiver is the Onkyo TX616, I do believe. It's a 7.2 surround sound amplifier, 8 HDMI ins, and 2 HDMI outs. We're going to get into the 2 outs here in just a little bit. As you can see, PlayStation fanboy all the way. We've got the 2 Sony consoles, and just a lot of controllers on the top. We do have a laptop here that I use as a media center PC almost daily. Really love my entertainment. Cut cable probably about 2 years ago, so everything I watch is almost online, so it's great to have that functionality. We do have a little PSW 111 8-inch subwoofer there. A little bit of a media rack here. Just some of my games. Very few movies that I still have. Again, you can almost get anything online when it comes to movies, so I gutted my Blu-ray collection that I had probably 300 titles on last year, I would like to say, which is actually where I got some of the money to start my setup. Up here, we've got an Xbox that I'm looking to sell at some point in time. If anybody's interested and lives in my area, unfortunately I'm not going to ship it kind of outside of where I live. Get at me. I really only want like 120 bucks. It's a 320 gig, I do believe. Everything's there. Panning over this way, we've got the final speakers of the 7.2 surround sound. Also, a painting of my cat as a sailor. A friend of mine at work does those. I'll maybe get a link to his Twitter if he has one. And down here, lastly, we do have the last subwoofer. This subwoofer is... I'm honestly not sure what kind. It is dark as all hell down there, so you're not going to be able to see it. Furniture, honestly, pretty straightforward. Now, what I like about over here is this isn't the only setup that I have. If we look over here, we have the workstation. So rather than just walk over, I want to take some time to look at the floor, as dirty as it may be, and take a look at some of these cables. So as you're going to see, there are some cables run through the wall, little foot kick thing here, and the cables run right over. So, starting here, we've got my PC. This is custom built by myself. It's nothing absolutely flashy. It was my very first build and was a fantastic learning experience. I bought a lot of my parts at the exceptionally high price time, which kind of sucks. I think I could have waited a little bit longer and got everything a lot cheaper, but whatever. It is what it is. I am in Canada as well, so parts are a little bit cheaper. Geez, I wish. A little bit more expensive than they are in the States. Panning along here to let you know a little bit about the machine. Hey, Spider-Man! Spider-Man's in prison in there. He kind of goes with my color theme. We're running a AMD FX 8320 overclocked to very stable 4.2. As we can see in there, it's being cooled by a Corsair H80i. That is a Power Color PCS Plus R9 290. And other than that, just a Thermaltake 700 watt power supply. The board is a Asus M5A 97R 2.0. There's a ton of hard drives in there. I don't think I can really, I can't get in there by any means to show you guys, but I do have two Western Digital 2 terabyte green drives, one for my YouTube content, one for my media center. I have a Samsung 840 Evo Pro that I use. It's a 128. I use that for my OS. And then I have a 500 gig games drive in there as well. This is all cooled, other than the H80i, by two 200mm fans, red in color, obviously. And then I've got an external temperature control that kind of guides me along the way for everything else, other than Corsair Link that I run software-wise on the PC. Moving along here, we're going to see my microphone and boom stand. Now, the microphone is an Audio-Technica ATR 2500 USB cardioid mic. Fantastic. I'll leave a link in the description below. I really wanted to go mixer and mic, however, it was far too expensive. Lots of headsets here at my router sitting on the floor because I don't have room for it right now anywhere else. You can see Flower Kitty's headset. She's rocking a Frozen headset. I've got my Beats that I use for typically audio rendering when I do videos, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail later. I've also got Razer T-Mac 2.2s, and then my PlayStation headset as well. Panning up, we've actually got 3 different monitors. I'm just going to move this chair out of the way, probably very noisy. But starting over here, we've got my old Dell 24-inch. This is just a H2411 or something like that. It's a business class. It's not extremely fancy. This guy here I actually just got last week. He used on Kijiji/Craigslist, whatever you want to call it. This is a Samsung BX2450. It's a 2 millisecond response time gray to gray TN panel monitor. Really good. I picked it up for $50. So honestly, I had to do it. I felt compelled. I really wanted 3 monitors. I've wanted it for a while. This is the bread and butter monitor right here. This is what I use daily to produce content. As you can see, it's not rippling like this one here. There are a few reasons why. This is the BenQ RL2460. This is a MLG gaming class monitor. 1 millisecond gray to gray response time, 60 hertz. I really wanted to go 144, but I don't do a lot of PC gaming. I'm still kind of just stuck to console. But this thing here is phenomenal. And if we pan around and look in the back, we're going to see there's 2 boxes plugged in here. I wish I could get some more light for you guys. I do apologize. I hope you can see it fine. So this is my capture card. This is the Roxio Game Capture Pro HD. It's decent enough. Honestly, I would have loved to get an Elgato, but this was just crazy cheap at the time. Didn't have $200, and when I first started this, I didn't have a lot of money saved up or put aside. I've liquidated a lot of assets to try to build this setup, so if I could change one thing, it would be the capture card. I can explain that very quickly. This thing doesn't really interface with anything very well. It will interface with the paid version of XSplit. However, after about an hour of either recording or streaming, it can't quite keep up with the way that the hardware itself compresses the file format. So for any sort of streaming, you do have to stream the preview window with OBS to make it at all doable, I guess. Now beside it is something very special. This is an OREI, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, OREI HDMI splitter. It's a 1.4 splitter, and what's happening if we look over here is I've got my PlayStation over here. I have actually run two cables, as we kind of saw here. We're running an HDMI and we're also running a USB. Now the HDMI is coming all the way across the floor, all the way, and it's going in to the monitor here. This has dual HDMI, so with a flip of a switch, I can actually change the input and run my PS4, which is what I do for gaming most of the time, and it makes it that much easier to produce content and record with this microphone as well and things like that. But this also has an HDMI out to make sure that you're eliminating any sort of input lag that any capture card of your choosing may give you. So what I did was I ran the HDMI, like I said, into the monitor. Now we can actually go out from the HDMI out into that switch. Now the reason why I bought that switch originally was within the amplifier setup over here, I was trying to put the capture card before the amplifier. So PS4 into the capture card and then out from the capture card into the amplifier. The downfall with that was the capture card downscales all audio to 2-channel. Now with 7.2, I really didn't want to downscale everything to 2.0. So what I've done is I've actually gone from the PlayStation into the amplifier. I've used the primary HDMI out to go into the TV. That still gives me all of my content in 7.2. But then with the other HDMI out, which only outputs 2-channel anyway, we're going over here and we're going into the monitor. So that's why I originally bought the splitter, was I was gonna try to split the signal coming from the PS4 into the splitter, and then one end would go over here and the other end would go into the amp. The splitter also downscales everything into 2-channel audio. However, it does bypass HDCP restrictions on the PS4. Not only do I use the media center that I showed you earlier, that laptop, but I also use the PS4. My daughter just finds it way easier to navigate as far as Netflix is concerned. So I didn't want to disable that ability or go in and out and change it all the time. So this little guy here allows me to first go into the splitter, which scrubs the HDCP, and then it goes out into the capture card, and the capture card just goes nowhere because it doesn't need to go anywhere. Everything is going into the monitor first. So I absolutely love that. If anybody's looking to scrub away the HDCP, I'll leave a link to both the manufacturer's website as well as to the Amazon store, both for Canada and the US. It's extremely cheap. I think I paid $30 for it, and it was well worth it. Now, I had told you guys there was two cables running on the floor. One being HDMI. The other one is actually going into this guy right here. Now this is a powered 7-port USB hub. Now the distance between my workstation and the TV isn't that great, but if I left, let's say, my gold headset here plugged into the console, it would cut out from time to time because I'm just on the cusp of the Bluetooth range. So what I've done is I've bought a monoprice 15-foot extension with repeater to plug this guy into, to be able to plug in my controllers if they die, my headset dongle, but also I can use my microphone by plugging it into that and running it that way. Now, if you're looking to do something like this as well, I strongly suggest going with a powered hub. And the reason for that is the cardioid mic does need a lot of power and a lot of consistent power. The downfall with a lot of extensions or a lot of hubs is you're either going too far and you're reducing power or efficiency or transfer rate, or with the hubs especially, is you're actually taking that amp rating, which is usually, let's say, 2 amps, and you're splitting that across all of the outputs. So powered is definitely the way to go. I just have, you know, 2-channel Logitech speakers. Getting close here, we have got my dongle for the Microsoft Xbox 360 controller. And then here we've got my switch for my speakers. Now, I've got everything Velcroed down, and this is kind of what I was telling you guys before, and why I had to take apart the desk. As you can see, my desk was not wide enough at all to house the 3 monitors. 2, it was fine. Desks are hell of expensive. I'm expecting a baby. I have invested far too much on this setup as well, so I couldn't go out and splurge on a $200 desk. Instead, I went to my local hardware shop and I bought an $8 shelf, cut it to size, which is about a foot per side on the desk, and it's not even screwed on. Everything is super heavy, so it's keeping it at bay. The peripherals that I use would just be a Cooler Master Devastator, I guess this is, blue in color. They make it in red as well. I had the Devastator mouse. It only lasted me about 3 months when I built my rig. By the way, I built this rig, as far as the computer is concerned, last February. I didn't mention that before. But with the Devastator set, it came with a mouse. The mouse shit the bed super quick. So this is a Pyrrhix, and again, I may have butchered that, but it's P-E-R-R-I-X, I do believe. I'll leave a description, or a link in the description below as well. This guy's fantastic. It's 2400 DPI, I would like to say. It's weighted, it's got LEDs, it's got MRON switches, it's got everything I wanted, and honestly it was like 20-25 bucks, so super efficient as far as cost was concerned, which is why I got it. Here we've just got some of my controllers for the PS4. I've got 2 other controllers over on the other stand as well. And panning over, we've got my tripod, we've got my old speakers, a valance that fell off the window. There is Flower Kitty's computer chair. It just kind of gets tucked away when we're not using it. That's one of my old Cosby shirts. And my chair, nothing special. Guys, I've got like 24 subs. I can't get a DX Racer unless you guys want to send me one. Then I will gladly review it, plant my ass in it every day, and thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, this is the setup. So if you guys have any questions, oh, there's my subwoofer as well, about anything that I'm running as far as the PC, the monitors, the microphone, the USB hub, which I strongly advise that you guys take a look at, anything over here as well, get at me. You can send me a message on Twitter, you can get at me on Google+, in the comments section. It's honestly whatever you guys would prefer. This was basically made, one, again, to produce some content for you guys today. I had also invested in a camera so I could do stuff like this for you guys in the future, maybe some other tutorials like I did with the hard drive video. But this isn't to brag or anything like that. This is to show you what I use on a daily basis to produce content or to game or what have you. If you guys had any questions, it's easier for you to see how everything's hooked up and then ask them based off of that. Alright guys, so that was the whole tour. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout the whole thing. Again, if you have any questions about anything you saw in the entire setup, let me know. If you would like to share a setup as well, I'd honestly love to see it. If you could link it to me, if you could send it to me via Twitter or Google+, or anything like that, any channels that I have available through my YouTube channel itself. I'd love to be able to give you pointers or maybe see what I could do differently with mine. I would love to see what your guys' looks like. So that's my challenge to you, is use your phone, use a camera, use a camcorder, use whatever you have available to you, but I do want to see your setups, and I want to be a little bit intrusive. You know what? I let you guys into my home. We've bought this house as a growing family, my girlfriend and our daughter, going on 2 years now. And out of all the visitors that have physically been in the building, if even a dozen of you have watched this video in any extent, you've been here more than I've actually had people physically in the building. We're just hella busy, so I don't want to think you guys to think I'm a hermit or anything like that. But anyway, I don't want to go any more into that. Also, if you guys like seeing this right here, this face, hearing this voice through something a little bit more different than just my microphone, let me know as well. I've made the investment for my camera, I might as well use it. I may do weekly vlogs just to maybe see what's happened throughout the week and let you guys and let you know what I've been up to. The camera was originally purchased for pictures of our daughter. We are adding a new addition to the household this coming August or September, depending on when she decides to let herself into this world. So yeah, I don't want to say that I made this investment solely for YouTube or anything like that. It is for other means. Nobody by any means needs an SLR or a fancy camera to make vlogs or anything like that. A lot of people have a lot more followers without it. But I figured, you know what, if I'm making the investment for the camera, a little bit more now would give me some videos. So that's what you're seeing here. So if you guys want to see something like that, please let me know in the comments below. I honestly would love to keep doing this. Maybe if you could give me some topics or anything like that, or anything you would like me to talk about or address, I'd certainly love to do it. So that's it for now, guys. You've been intruders, you've seen my house, you've seen my face, and you've heard a little bit about my setup. So maybe until the next vlog or the next gameplay, we'll talk later. See you guys. Hey guys, what's going on? It's QwazyVlog here, and I thought I'd just take a moment to maybe give you a small mini review on probably what's going to be the most hated game, I think, probably of the 2000s. As you can see here, we have hatred. Now, as a very quick PSA, this is not me promoting the game in any way. This is not a genre I would endorse. It's not anything I'm looking to promote. I consider this more of a public service. Obviously, if you've stumbled across this video and you're watching this video, it's because you have curiosity about the game. Don't waste $30 because you're probably not going to like it. And if you do, I mean, that's